What'd you bring me? What'd you bring me back?
Dude, happiness, joy, rainbows.
Is that what your kid said to you? Is that what your kid said to you when you got back in the door? What'd you bring me?
Dude, no, first thing they want to do is get on Amazon. Like, Daddy, I did good this week. Can I get some Amazon money? I'm like, you know what?
I had to go back on vacation
because
grandma spoiled me.
We did not get any souvenirs, man. I can't. I'm not good at buying souvenirs. One, because they're usually massively overpriced, and I'm like, I could just make this at home. Like, I'll just get me a damn screener and print something that says Los Cabos, Mexico on a damn T-shirt or a mug or something like that. And then, like,
my kids got so much damn Vegas stuff because I go out there all the time.
And there's a good chance that it might break. Like, if you get like a coffee mug or something, what I really wanted to do was bring some tequila back, and I didn't. But that just gives me more incentive to get back there ASAP so that I can.
Well, while you were gone, I made you something to encapsulate how I feel about you. Because
how'd you feel?
Here, I'm gonna play it for you.
Okay,
you ready?
Let me see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought we were friends, and then you go run away from me. Contain your. Why don't you go enjoy yourself while I go ice my balls and spit up blood? Drop it, team player.
That's how I felt in this cold weather.
I deserve that.
Except I had to warm mine. I had to warm mine up.
In my defense, this was not for me. This was for my wife's 40 years, so I will blame it on her and her years on this world.
Look at you just rolling the bus over your wife now, team player.
It's her. It was all her. I had nothing to do with it. I was just an innocent bystander as she planned this vacation, drugged me to the airport, made me play golf, made me drink all that tequila. And all I was like was Rody. I wish Rody was here. I know he's so sad. And
now you're doing what this week?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm being forced to go to Vegas this week.
Oh, yeah, I thought we were friends, and then you go.
That's what you get.
I'm being forced to go to Vegas. Against my will, I'm going to Vegas just to,
have you ever seen the movie? Have you ever seen the movie The Other Guys?
With
Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg?
Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, I've seen parts of it. Not my favorite Will Ferrell movie, but they had some funny parts.
So at the very beginning, Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock are like the superstar cops.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like looking for somebody to do the paper. They're like faking the whole office. And he's like, all the sex with beautiful women we don't want to have, but we do it is all thanks to you. That was like you right now. All these trips on vacation I'm going on is all your fault.
Dude, does this look like a happy man?
I mean, what a good.
Those are the
why'd you guys have to match the sign? Why did you guys color coordinate with this?
The tears of a clown right here, man. Like, I'm hurting inside so much.
Oh, look at that. That's beautiful, though.
Dude, like, I couldn't stand it. Like, just being out here.
Look at that. That's a champion's pose right there. Look at that.
I did get par on this. The actual tee shot landed just short of the green. I thought it landed in a bunker, but it popped out. The wife was watching for me.
You shot pretty well that day.
87. My first time playing since October, so I'll take it.
You had a couple disaster holes. We have always got those two like disaster holes where you get like triple bogey, and then you just start thinking, man, if I did just bogey those holes.
If I just bogeyed it, like not even asking for like a par or a birdie, can I just get like a normally bad hole versus like this awful, god awful, ridiculous bad hole? But
well, welcome back for a day before you go to Vegas. And since you're going to Vegas, I wanted to take good care of you. So earlier I connected with a guy. I follow him on Twitter. You can follow him too at Vital Vegas. Scott Robin. He runs a website, and I follow him religiously to find out what's going on every time I go out there. So I wanted to get him on to prepare you. So you and I got a chance to catch up with him. We'll run that back a little bit later in today's show.
Dude was a wealth of knowledge about all things Vegas.
Got to share. He dropped some news. He dropped some breaking news as it pertains to the Oakland A's moving to Vegas and what's going on with that. So
look at us. Look at us.
Look at us. Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought? Getting breaking news on Pod Me Up for Vegas. Like, who would have thought? Not me.
Not me. But it's Super Bowl week.
Mhm.
And before Super Bowl week, and we start to get into all the sports stuff, I got to ask you, did you pay attention to anything with the Pro Bowl?
Dude, so no. Long story short, no. But what really turned me off, and it's probably going to turn me off for the foreseeable future as it pertains to this particular event. I did check my Twitter account while I was in Paradise, and I saw there was a highlight for a water balloon catching contest. That was part of the Pro Bowl. That's part of the skills competition. So when they initially shifted to this, not going to play a real game, play flag football, and have a skills competition, I thought it was going to be like the good skills competition, like the early 90s. We had Larry Allen benching 225 for like 40 times, and Darryl Green racing Rod Woodson. Because who wouldn't want to see Tyreek Hill and Ladarius Sneed? Well, Ladarius Sneed playing in the Super Bowl. Like one of the other fast guys in the league racing Tyreek Hill, the cheetah.
Right.
Who wouldn't want to see that? Who wouldn't want to see how many bench press reps Tyron Smith could get, or which quarterback is most accurate? I actually enjoy that. Do you remember the old Nintendo 64 game called NFL Quarterback Club?
I love the Quarterback Club. Because that's all showing up on my TikTok algorithm now. It was like Randall Cunningham. Like they even went into like Peyton Manning, Mike Vick. Like it still went on for a while where they had the chalk on the end of the ball and you had to hit the targets. I love that.
Yeah.
The one they did now, I was not a fan of.
I didn't see all of it. Did they do some of those type skills?
It's similar. It's like, I mean, it's indoor. They don't do like the running through the gauntlet. You're just there standing and still throwing at targets.
Oh, okay.
Which for the most accurate passer in the NFL, allegedly, Tua turned the ball over.
Tua turned the ball over.
He didn't do too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And Baker Mayfield, of all people, won and beat CJ Stroud.
Wow. I mean,
yeah. That let me know how far the Pro Bowl has fallen in terms of being an accolade that you accomplish. When I look up and I see Gardner Minshew is at the Pro Bowl.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. Gardner Minshew was living it up at the Pro Bowl. I mean, I know Lamar Jackson probably didn't go because he's probably dealing with a lot of guys nowadays just don't like to go. Being selected is enough, and it triggers their whatever incentive they have in their contract. But actually,
last year,
not required. So
last year it was in Vegas, so I see like going for that unless you're Alvin Kamara and you punch.
And when
it
used to be in Hawaii, it makes sense. No, anybody can go to Orlando. Anybody can go to Orlando. I mean, especially these guys.
Like, I'll be honest, I could have hopped the Spirit Special and gone out and put up more points than Tua on that quarterback skills contest.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl has just become a shell of its former self. I don't know what the ratings are, but it's free money for the NFL, so they have no incentive to let it go. Like, what else is going to be happening? Like, there's still more people tuning into this than whatever else they're playing on Saturday or Sunday. So, man, NFL has no incentive to make it any better, but man, it is an eyesore for people who appreciated how they used to do things. And now I'm completely off board. Like, I didn't even know. Actually, I forgot that it was on. You know,
as you should.
Right. So
as you should.
That's what I stand.
You know what I watch? I watch pro bowling. I like to see how they get the proper RPM. I will watch that over.
Yeah, I will watch pro bowling. I appreciate bowling.
I do.
Yeah.
But you know, I watch Pebble Beach. I watched Tom Brady and Josh Allen out swinging away at Pebble Beach this weekend.
I saw that. I saw that highlight. Tom Brady topping the ball. One of us. One of us.
I loved it.
Yes.
And then he was trying to negotiate more strokes with Josh Allen for the handicap.
Pause.
Before it started. You always take whatever advantage you can get.
Just pause. No, more strokes, really? It's just
more strokes from Josh Allen.
Oh, I'll never grow up. I shall never grow up. But
yeah, man. I just like watching, and then the weather there was crap. It was like spitting rain at Pebble Beach.
What? I feel like, doesn't it always have? Well, I never understood how God must really love golf, because more times than not, 4 days, they schedule these tournaments for 4 days, and more times than not, it doesn't rain. Like, weather is usually perfect for these golfers. And I don't understand
that's just because that's what we see it on television. They're not going to play. and show it on TV when it's raining.
Right, yeah, but like Thursday through Sunday, whenever I want to go golf Thursday through Sunday,
Yeah.
it rains. Like
It's a
something
mess.
bad happens, like
Yep.
where I'm at. Like some weather,
Yep.
it's usually super windy. We get 25-mile-per-hour
Oh.
gust.
I got my Thursday. I forgot. I got my trip coming up in May again. My Thursday through Sunday golf trip that I do with Uncle Jim and the fellas.
Uncle Jim.
Me and Uncle Jim go.
Might have to crash this trip. Man.
Come on. It'll be in the great state of Ohio.
But San Fran, or that is like the San Fran or area. I don't know exactly where Pebble Beach is. It's on my bucket list of golf courses to golf. But I know that they get a lot of that adverse weather because of the ocean and whatnot. But
yeah.
So I'm not totally surprised they got some bad weather. But it's Pebble Beach, man. Even if it is a little rainy, it is gorgeous out there.
So I wanted to ask you, Le'Veon Bell wants to come back, but can we make a truce because we're in the last week of the NFL season.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to come to an agreement as a show. I need to make an addendum to the rules.
Okay, I'm listening.
Is that proper? You have the lawyer wife, so I don't want her to tell me
I think that would be right.
Okay. We will not be a show that is covering mock drafts. I hate mock drafts. I'm tired of mock drafts. I wish mock drafts would go away forever. Forever.
Look, I'm not as anti mock draft as you are, but I will grant your wishes. I do ask, however, that we at least have a wish list of who.
No, absolutely. No, we'll have a wish list. I'm just talking about. I don't want to break down Mel Kiper's.
Oh no, heck no, no, I'm with you.
87th mock draft on a Tuesday that came out. Like I don't have a problem with addressing it week of the NFL draft, but first of all, you now see them mid-college football season when you don't even know what the draft order is.
Right.
So, let's say the Browns, after all the injuries, had a first-round pick and got the first pick. Are they drafting a quarterback first overall? No. So you don't know who's going to go in that spot into who because it's based on need a lot of times.
So I will say this. This is what I will counter that. We won't do a mock draft except for the day of the draft. And we only do the first round as a wager between us two on how the first round is going to go down.
See who gets the most players right?
See who gets the most players right.
No, that's fun. That's not mock draft talk. That's gambling.
Yeah. Just had to
That's
put
not mock draft talk.
Put a little bit of seasoning on that. That's all I had to do. Just
that's the NFL making us money in degenerate activities in the offseason in some way, shape, or form. That's all that is.
I just had to present it a little different. But okay, we're on the same page. But yeah, I agree. I don't need to go through every iteration of every mock draft after every trade or every free agent pickup. No, I don't need to do all that. So
now let's get into the one topic before we cover some more wide world of sports, and we bring on Scott Robin of Vital Vegas here in a little bit. Le'Veon Bell making a comeback. Your Steelers going to sign him?
I just read that this morning.
My alma mater.
If he's willing to be a third string running back, which he has, I mean, he would be if he comes back and he's anything like he was when he left Kansas City, we don't need him. He has been out the game. We saw what happened when he takes a break for a while and tries to come back, and now he's like 3 years older than when he did that the first time.
But now he's done knocked the hell out of Adrian Peterson. So he's got that going for him.
Right.
You remember when they did that celebrity?
Yeah,
he dropped him like a bad habit.
He did. Le'Veon's a big boy. So I think
he went to my high school.
In the right scenario, if he comes back, he said and I read the article this morning, actually. He said he's not going to start working out to March. No, dude, you need to maybe start a little bit sooner. You've been out the game for a while. But
listen, as two aging like beauty stallions, that's how I like to refer to us.
Stallions. I like it. Stallions.
That metabolism sets in, bro.
Yeah, it does.
You ain't just picking it up and going anymore.
Dude, and everything's going to hurt so much more. I'm like, I was watching, and let me just talk about and bring back some of what Le'Veon Bell and why this is even an intriguing topic as an offensive lineman. There was nobody I ever wanted to block for more than Le'Veon Bell. He is every offensive lineman's dream as far as how you run the ball, how
He
you
sets up his blocks
patiently
well.
set up your blocks, how you go where the play is intended to go, and you only cut back when it's absolutely necessary. He ran the ball how it's supposed to be ran, and I thought his style of running could be replicated by somebody who would watch his style, and nobody has. Nobody has done what he did, how he did it, to the success that he had doing it. And so if he's anything like that, even 75% of that, 50% of that, I wouldn't mind seeing what that would look like if that could help improve our line play. Because I think the way he ran the ball, there was some kind of osmosis improvement. Not only was he benefiting from the Pouncey's and the Ramon Fosters and the Villanuevas, but he made them better too by the way he ran the ball. And so I would not just say no up front, but definitely he needs to start working out maybe February 5th, like right now, in preparation for
and maybe he doesn't want to be on a team to start training camp or for the start of the season, but mid-season, find a team has an injury at running back that's in contention and he wants to hop on the right roster then. But he said he wants to go to the Steelers. That's not a situation. The Steelers, unless Najee or Warren get injured, they're not picking you up mid-season.
Right.
This is not something they're going to do. So you've narrowed it down to one team, and you're going to start working out in March. I think Joe Flacco has made a lot of people delusional as to this. Get off your couch and come play the game.
Good old Joe. I wanted to get a picture so bad. We were coming back from Los Cabos, and in the airport, I saw somebody with an orange shirt with the face of Joe Flacco right here. And I wanted to see if I could get a selfie with him, but he was too far ahead in the security line. You know how people are in the security line. They don't play. They don't want you skipping or looking like you're about to skip them in line, especially when there's a lot of people. And I forgot the word that he said. Have you seen these shirts, these Joe Flacco shirts?
There's a lot of them now.
Okay.
I can't remember the word.
I was like, it was actually pretty cool. I was like, I wish I could have got this for Rody. But yeah, listen, Joe Flacco is making everybody feel like they can do and just get off the couch and just ball out.
I felt like I could make a comeback. I texted my buddy immediately. I was like, hey, flag football. You give me 3 seconds to throw that ball. Put me in. I'll spin. We'll win. That's my motto. Put me in. I'll spin. We'll win. And that's what we're going to do. Just like Joe. Joe Flacco's gotten more love in 6 months from Cleveland than he got for a Super Bowl in Baltimore.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he has. Cleveland loves him. Cleveland wants him back. So I think the fans, he's become a urban
cult hero.
A cult hero.
Cult hero. He's like he's like a movie quarterback now in that town.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Shane Falco went to Ohio State in the replacements. And that was at a time where no good quarterbacks had come out of Ohio State. So he was Ohio State's quarterback with Shane Falco. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Apollo Creed dying.
Yeah. And it's Apollo Creed and
is there a more inspirational sports movie? Rocky is got to be a top of the sports. I mean, when you talk about especially inspirational sports, you got Rocky, you got Rudy, even though Rudy was more made up than Rocky, we found out later.
Right.
But the inspirational sports movies, it was like our generation, everybody loves some Rocky. Just like you thought you could be Joe Flacco and get off the couch and go spin and win, or be Le'Veon Bell and go play for the Steelers again. Mm-hmm. You thought one day somebody's going to knock on my door and give me a shot at the belt. And when that day comes, I'm going to be ready, boy. I'm going to be ready. Now, and you'll be able to test to this after you see some things in Vegas because you're going to a fight.
Yes.
I think, aren't you?
I
am. Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed is dead. Carl Weathers passed away last week.
Yeah, that's
like a little part of my childhood's gone.
Dude, yeah. And not only was he the inspirational boxer, but he was one hell of a golf coach as well.
Oh, Chubbs.
He was Chubbs.
It's
despite
all
his
in the hips.
hand getting all in the hips.
Pause.
Yeah. R.I.P. Carl Weathers,
Hey,
and he gave us some.
Chubbs
great
didn't learn
memories.
that on the golf course.
No, he did
Okay.
not.
He learned that on the 19th hole at the bogey inn.
Yes.
That's where Chubbs learned the all in the hips. But
Yeah, he will be missed, man. He definitely gave us a lot of childhood memories, and was a big emphasis or a big inspiration for these Creed movies, which I think have been absolutely amazing with Michael B. Jordan. So,
what was your favorite Rocky movie?
4. It was 4.
That's the go-to. Some people will say 3.
Yeah.
But I don't like when Mickey dies.
No, I don't either. It's 3 Clubber Lane.
Yeah.
3 is Clubber Lane. So it's either 2 or 4. I didn't like the one with Andre the Giant. Which one was that one? That might have been 2, actually. So,
Andre the Giant.
No, Andre the Giant was number 3. With it started
Hulk
out
Hogan.
with,
or Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah. Hulk Hogan.
When he was fighting the wrestler at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then they killed Mickey.
Yeah.
Clubber Lang killed Mickey. He didn't really, but he just stressed his heart out a little bit.
Exactly.
Mickey couldn't see Rocky go out there and get beat up.
4th is the best by far.
I am one of the few people that liked 5.
With Tommy Gunn?
Yeah.
I don't remember 5 very often, so I can't.
He lost because Paulie lost all his money. I don't know how he kept that rat bastard Paulie around after losing all his money.
Right.
I mean, you sent my man Rocky back to the slums. Adrian's got to go back to work at the bird feed store. It's hard times for the Balboas.
Hard times, man. After being at the top too. It's being at the top.
Yep.
To come crashing down how they did. That was not the best.
So, you're out to Vegas. What are we doing while we're out there?
I head out tomorrow. So I will be partaking in many of the NFLPA events, being sponsored by our Players Association as well as the NFL. So Tuesday, I get in tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be just settling in. I might make my way around a blackjack table or 2 or 5. Might partake in a buffet, which we learned from Scott are just not what they used to be.
Wait till you hear the prices on the buffets now, people.
Oh my goodness. But then we had that. Then on Wednesday, we have a golf outing out at Desert Pines, which is pretty awesome. And then we have an NFLPA party that evening to go to. Me and my buddy Max, and I'm sure I'll meet up with a few other teammates and former players while we're out there. Thursday, going to the LIV, baby. My first LIV
that'll be fun.
Golf tournament is going to be out in Vegas. It's already a crazy scene for what I've seen on TV and other places.
You got to send me some pictures of that. You got to send me pictures of that.
Oh, no. I mean, if everything goes according to plan, we'll be doing a show. I'll be sending you a lot more than pictures. I'll be showing the world what happens when Trai does Vegas. And
be careful.
Not many people can hang with
Be careful. Let me remind you of my last time in Vegas with the sheets pulled up to my chin.
Yeah, they were. Now, this is, I will preface this. This is 41-year-old Trai doing Vegas. Whole different animal than 28-year-old Trai doing Vegas. So
the video call I'm going to get from you is going to be you on top of Caesar's Palace, locked out of your room because you lost a bet to Max.
So what I will do, I'm going to do some self-care while I'm out there. I'm going to get me a massage. That is one thing that is at the top of my list. I'm going to get me a massage, and I'm going to do the whole hydrotherapy, sauna, cold, wet steam, cold plunge, the whole 9.
I'll tell you the one I like the most out there strip-wise, other than the Wynn and Bellagio have nice ones, but Paris has a really nice one.
Yeah,
Paris.
That's what I heard. So definitely going to partake in that. But then we got the LIV on Thursday, and then that evening we have a boxing match between, give me a second, Lopez and, where'd you go? Lopez and
George?
Jermaine Ortiz and Teofimo Lopez. So these are welterweights. It's not a heavyweight battle, but boxing is in a weird place right now. We don't have any kind of American heavyweights. What used to
one thing I've never gotten to do in Vegas is go to a fight, UFC or boxing. I want to do that one day, but I've not done that yet.
So I'm excited. We're supposed to have pretty good seats. I'm gonna go check one out. The sweet science of boxing. I've always had so much respect because I've tried to do boxing as a workout to get ready for the football season, and it is not for the faint of heart. Like true boxing workouts, are tough as hell. And so I got so much respect for what they do, their craft, and just being able to just punch in the face over and over and over and over and over and over again. And then coming back and you're punching in the face. It's not the best situation to be put in, but these guys train for it for a living. So I love getting a chance to see anybody at the top of their game go out and perform for us.
Make sure you got your Heisman pose on, because there's going to be a lot of out-of-town workers flooding, from what I've read, looking for that sugar daddy out there in Vegas.
Oh, please believe I'm good. I've traversed the strip enough to know what I'm looking for.
No, I know you have.
Yeah,
I know you have, but it's my favorite thing about that is the people watching. I like to walk the strip and say, worker or not a worker, when I see a couple together. And it's the people watching. That's why I tell you, make sure your Heisman pose is on, but just tell me all the fun stories, because the stuff that you see out there, you can't liken it to anything else in this country.
Vegas is one of a kind.
It's just right in your face. It's like wide open and right in your face. And it's just funny to see. Working girls right in your face. Pause. But no, it's funny to see when you're out there, because they're out there grinding. They got no shame.
They got to feed their kids too.
Yep. But my buddy, he was like, oh no, they're all coming in from. They've already set up shop the last couple of weeks, coming in from Seattle, San Francisco, LA, and it's going to be a busy time out there. You're doing the fun activities though. It's not going to be relegated to just gambling.
No, yeah, and so
you get to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to catching up with some former teammates, some former contemporaries, guys I used to play against. This should be, and it sounds funny, Super Bowl in Vegas. This should be one of my milder trips to Vegas, ironically, because I'm going out there with a focus to see folks and partake in some of these events. I'm not going out there like I did in 2011 for a bachelor party, and then 2011 again to recap my bachelor party. I just tried to recapture what I did the first time. No, it's going to be completely different this time around.
And what's beautiful is you can do that stuff. You can go out there and just get a massage, relax, enjoy the room, and do all that stuff. No pool this time of year.
Yeah,
not going
to high is
any pool activity
all week.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah,
but let's, without further ado, then let's get the real inside information. You want to go ahead and show everybody what we had to talk about with Scott?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The Super Bowl's in Vegas this week. My guy Trey's leaving me to go out of town again, and I figured I needed to get him set up the right way. So none other than Vital Vegas, Scott Robin, is I hope I pronounced that right, but he's going to come give everybody the lowdown. Everybody knows about the Strip. Everybody knows where the Super Bowl is going to be. I want to start with my favorite part of Vegas, which is downtown Vegas, because that's where I spend most of my time. Scott's going to give us all that. How's it going, Scott?
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime. So when I go out there, and actually I was just having a conversation this past weekend, I went to a comedy show, TJ Miller. He is going to be playing this week out there, I think the 9th and 10th, there's a new comedy establishment down in like the Arts District. So if you can, a lot of people don't know about Fremont Street. So before we get to what the prices are and the gouging and all the fun resort fees and everything Vegas is going to do to everybody to make them sad this week, tell them about the fun side of Vegas. It's unheard of sometimes with downtown, the Arts District, and what they're doing down there with Circa and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people know about Fremont Street Experience. I used to work there for a few years. It's really just a great place to party. The casinos tend to provide a better value than they do on the Strip. The Arts District, almost nobody knows about. There's no casinos. It's really just kind of like a restaurant bar district and some other things. There's like some interesting, vintage kind of shops and but when people think of downtown Las Vegas, they usually think of Fremont Street Experience because a lot of people from the Strip go to Fremont Street Experience. I like it because the casinos are all very close. It's very much liquor driven. Because
As a
you're on-
large
you
man,
know-
I like not having to take a lot of steps and go
Yeah.
20 minutes between hotels.
Yep.
I don't need
and-
10K.
I'm on a bad
day,
craps
like most
table. I
people.
need to get to the next one.
Yep. And your dollar goes a little bit further downtown. It used to be that they had much looser slots than the Strip, but now that's actually changed, which was a shock to me because they've tightened those things right up, of course. But I like it just because everything's close. It's kind of known quantities, and it's kind of a self-contained area where they have security on Fremont Street. And then there's kind of an extension of Fremont Street Experience, which is Fremont East, which is more bar hopping, restaurants. and
Disco
things.
pussy.
Yes, correct.
I laugh every time I pass that bar when I'm walking down.
Yeah, it's a clever name. It's really cool inside. There's like a giant light octopus, hence the name.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's kind of a little something for everybody. There's no like, if you want spectacle, that's the Strip, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to find a show downtown. You're gonna find, a couple of kind of more modest shows, but it's really downtown is very much for much more party oriented. There's free entertainment, which people are surprised to hear, on 3 stages, pretty much, throughout the afternoon and night. Free anything is getting increasingly rare in Vegas, so a lot of people like that aspect of Fremont Street Experience as well. I think the Arts District, people want it to be a thing. I don't know if it really is or will be. It's really much more for locals. What was that?
They're trying. They're trying.
Yeah, they're trying to make it a
container
thing.
park and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, I get out there Tuesday. Looking forward to it. Partying in Vegas is a little different now that I'm 41 versus when I used to go quite often every year in my late 20s, early 30s. But and so because of that, I want to check out the Fremont area. Rich has been telling me about all the fun and all the gambling you do. The cheaper tables, I guess you could say. I'm a blackjack guy. I love me some blackjack.
Yep.
But I will be contained a good portion of my trip on the Strip because of the events that I have to do as part of being a former player in the NFLPA stuff. But I'm curious, this year, how has prep for an event like the Super Bowl been different versus when, Vegas hosts all kinds of stuff throughout the year and throughout the decades. Has this been a significant difference as far as the preparation for an event this size?
Yeah, the Super Bowl is always like one of the biggest things that happens in Vegas. So it's a really interesting dynamic because hosting the event turns it into and I compare everything to F1. F1 was a disaster. It was 9 months of disruption to the town. The Super Bowl events are being handled much better. The things you can see are mostly related to advertising, because you've got like a giant Dorito chip on the Luxor. It looks absolutely horrible, but everyone loves Doritos. You don't need to put it on the Luxor, but it's cool because it's kind of like we can endure anything for a couple weeks, but F1 ruined the town for almost a year. And it's still ruining it. But so yeah, those are the most visible things. They're doing like projection mapping on the Strat, which used to be called the Stratosphere, which is very cool. They're blocking the Bellagio fountains with a TV studio. Not a fan. So those are a lot of the more visible things. Behind the scenes, Vegas is a convention town, an event town. So everybody, in another town, there might be freakouts, but in Vegas, it's just everything in stride. It's just on a bigger scale. So all these catering departments, all these convention planning elements of casinos. They just take this in stride. It's just on a bigger scale. So a typical guest might not even know anything is happening, to be honest. And that's the way it should be. It's like keep the event to the window of the event, have the hoopla and all that, but let people get to work. Don't tear up the streets. Don't, the prices are going to, it's Vegas. So there's going to be some surge pricing. I was talking to this guy downtown, the chef at a restaurant. I'm like, you got to do surge pricing because this is at Circa, which is a very sports oriented hotel to begin with. And this is the steakhouse. I'm like, if this place is going to be packed, and I go, well, you could double your prices easily and people are still going to, he's like, I would never do that. So there's the folks who are kind of like, nope, I'm not going to burn people once and lose them as a potential long-term customer. Then there's the other folks who are anything goes. Those prices of parking, those prices, the room prices, everything's through the roof. So I don't know if that answers the question, but
no, it does.
Yeah, Vegas is set up to do big town-wide events like this. And F1, like Ford Casinos benefited, but during the Super Bowl, everybody's gonna really take it on and embrace it. And they've been ready to go. Super Bowl is like this dream. I'm the first one who ever said there would be a Super Bowl in Vegas in 2024. I have evidence of it in a tweet. So I got everybody ready like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. So they're set.
I was actually
ready.
surprised at how affordable it was still to get out there, even this close to the Super Bowl. Some of the hotels are very reasonably priced, and even some of the flights. And now when you get into the actual weekend, I'm coming in Tuesday, leaving Friday. Right when Friday comes in is when I saw the price bump. It went up like 3 or 4 times. But pretty impressed with how things have been pretty reasonable for everybody that's trying to get out there.
Yeah, I always say compare it to anywhere else. Vegas seems expensive, but compare the room rates, whether it's during Super Bowl or not. Compare those to if it was held in another town, and I think it's very reasonable.
Yep.
Talking to Scott Robin of vitalvegas.com. Check him out on Twitter, or we call it Twitter still here, Scott. So
I do too. That will never change. Thank you.
It is a rule of our show. It will always be Twitter. Check him out at Vital Vegas there to get all your Vegas inside needs, what you're going to need to do in and around the Super Bowl. Like I said, I'll follow Scott all year long. Anytime I'm going out, what's going on here? What's going on there? Because Vegas used to be a town for me where I would go out, being in the Midwest, you get out there cheap. As long as you got a little bit of discipline, you can have a great time.
Right.
I was out there a week before Formula One and saw the prices and what was going on there and just how inconvenient it made it to get around everywhere. I was also out there before I left the day of the NFL draft when that was going on out there. And I saw, is Vegas still a place that this is repercussions and the surge pricing when they do these things, it's making up for that nut that they lost from the pandemic?
I've heard that. I don't think Vegas has ever been against making as much money as it can make. I don't think there's any catch up going on. I think I call it doom gambling or doom life, because I think coming out of the pandemic, Vegas has enjoyed a long stretch of really good like gambling revenue. And I wrote this long blog post about why I think that is. I think it's we're trying to recover from trauma collectively, and I think it's fewer people spending more money, which is an interesting dynamic. And I think because they've had that stretch of success and revenue, they're constantly trying to see what they can get away with. To be honest,
Sure.
they've across the board, they've cut like loyalty club benefits.
Yeah.
And there's still really good value in Vegas. It's just a little harder to find.
No more $4.99 steak and eggs, Trey. No more $4.99 steak and eggs.
I was about to lead there. I was about to head to the food question, because that's what I love myself some gambling. I love myself some sports. I love everything that Vegas has has to offer, but one of the main reasons I love Vegas, or I used to love Vegas, were the buffets. Scott, what the hell is going on with Vegas, and where are the buffets? Where can a big man like myself and Rody get some food at a $30 all you can eat? That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to see.
Well, it still exists.
Okay.
But about half the buffets at Vegas casinos have gone away. The reason they went away is because they were loss leaders for casinos. This old school mentality was, we will get them in with a cheap buffet and we'll get the money back through gambling, through the casinos. So the casinos subsidized everything, subsidized the shows, subsidized the parking, subsidized the buffets, the restaurants, whatever. The Strip especially is owned by two big companies now, Caesars Entertainment, MGM Resorts. In the corporate world, it's all about margins, and you don't have anything on your books that's a loss leader. That just does not fly. So the casino isn't compensating for these other offerings. So casinos wanted to get rid of buffets a long time before the pandemic because they're money losers. The average at Caesars is typical buffet lost about $3 million a year. That's not a good business model, right? So they use the pandemic as an excuse to close them down. And food halls and food courts are the new buffets. So comparatively, there's still good value. The best example probably is Rio, because the Rio had what was considered the biggest and the best buffet in the world at one point, the Carnival World Buffet. Pandemic, all that, it was just shut down, maybe before the pandemic, because it was just so big and expensive for them to operate it. Well, now they got a food hall, and the food hall is excellent. And depending on your appetite, $30 will get you orders of several things, but you're not going to get that 100 choice thing, and it's just not viable. The folks that still have it charge a lot for it. So you can do the Bacchanal buffet. I think it's probably the best in Vegas if you don't want to go to the South Point, because South Point is not really on the Strip. South Point probably still has a loss leader buffet, but the Bacchanal at Caesar's Palace, probably the best, but I think the price it's pushing close to $100 now, $80, $90.
Yeah, it was like $84.99 when I was out there in November, because that was a staple for me. I would go $30. You get the brunch buffet at Bacchanal, and it's as good as you can get. But it was $90 plus tax and tip when I went in November.
Yeah, so it's still worth it. There's seafood in the mix. Like, if you have to compare it to a regular dinner out in Vegas, and you're not going to get anything good for less than $100 anyway. So it's food halls, or the fancy, there's the Wicked Spoon at the Cosmopolitan. That's another good one. But again, it's the prices make it so they're not losing money. And people freak out when they hear that number, but that's the actual number to make a few dollars on the buffet. But yeah, everybody compares Vegas to this kind of what it used to be when there was free parking, and they're comparing it kind of to a bygone day where the business model was different. These corporate owners weren't in charge, and there was big drama at Fontainebleau because they had a plate of nachos for $21, and people lost their minds. It had to do with that there were 6 chips, but it also had to do with it was $21 for nachos.
Yeah.
In Vegas, that's nothing, really.
Right. Scott, you brought up Fontainebleau. So down on that end, you have the Fontainebleau just open, Resorts World. Is there any plans of to connect? Because it's basically Wynn, but like you got Circus there, the Strat, which, are they going to connect all of that together? Is that in the plans? Are they going to do anything with Circus and Strat?
There's a lot of talk, but I don't see anything happening anytime soon. There was this all-net arena that was between the Fontainebleau and the hotel that I don't talk about because they sued me, and I don't care for them very much. Let's say between Fontainebleau and the Strat. Okay. So that project finally, after a decade, fell through and is done. So we got an empty lot there. That that thing has been just an endless source of what the hell is going on. I don't see any buyer. I don't really see anybody jumping in there. But this talk about like the North Strip is, I think it's been overblown. And you hear the cheerleaders talking about how it's really going to turn around with Resorts World and Fontainebleau, and they're both struggling, and likely Fontainebleau is likely to have some serious financial problems in a year or two.
They're not really walkable.
Not
really
walkable. There's no foot traffic. The convention center's in the mix. So that's really the only hope of some of these places, Resorts World and Fontainebleau. They better get a handle on convention business. But you've got a lot of competition. You got much more space than you have demand. Conventions haven't come back after the pandemic. The other thing that's hurting them is travel from Asia, because that has not come back. Resorts World figured it would be all Asian whales. Fontainebleau would love some Asian whales there too. They're just not. It's not there. So I'm what do you call it? Bearish on the north end of the strip. The Strat is kind of a standalone thing too, but the only thing that could turn it around. Look, I'm going to make a sports reference, so you'll be happy. The only thing that could turn it around is when the A's deal with the Tropicana falls through, which it is very likely to. They're going to be looking for a new site, and those two sites are likely to be the Rio. They've offered them 22 acres for $1. I think the Rio should, and I have heard those discussions are ongoing. They've said we're having no current discussions, but all that means is let's see what happens at the Trop. But the other location is the Las Vegas Festival Grounds. The Las Vegas Festival Grounds is that corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and what is it? Sahara. That's an interesting space because it's owned by the guy who owns Circus Circus. He's a much more demanding negotiator. The reason it fell through originally is he wanted the concessions and parking. And no Major League Baseball team is going to give up concessions ever. But that's not saying he won't negotiate differently if they circle back. But that potentially could be, it's speculative, but that could change the North Strip, because to have a major sports venue, a lot of extra bodies, you would see everybody perk up in the neighborhood, because there are questions about how many people a ballpark would actually bring to Vegas, but it would be more than what it is now. That Tropicana site doesn't really need that big influx of people if it is big, but the festival grounds could definitely revitalize that neighborhood. And the world's largest gift shop would be a windfall for them. You'd see more keychains and postcards flying out that door than ever.
Let me ask you this, Scott. Vegas being the unique, awesome city that it is, people were going to come for the Super Bowl regardless. But do you think with the teams that are playing in the game next Sunday, do you think this was the ideal situation? Was there any uptick with the Swifties from Kansas City coming and the 49ers being so close, the West Coast team? Do you think this is the ideal matchup for this year's Super Bowl? Or I guess when you think about the Final Four, was Baltimore, Detroit, either one of those teams would have brought a better showing? Or does it even matter with it being Vegas?
No, I think there's more interest because of Taylor Swift. The only reason I'm interested is Taylor Swift, to be honest. I wouldn't have been able to tell you who was playing unless Taylor Swift was involved. But I think for the town, a very interesting aspect of Super Bowl in Vegas is there's a big question about it, like not just the teams, but hosting as opposed to it just being the Super Bowl, like in another city, because it is, like I said, it's one of the busiest times of the year. Maybe New Year's Eve is right in that, in terms of visitation and people just coming to town and blowing it out. But when you're hosting an event like this, you've got I've heard 60,000 is the number of people who are involved with the production, with media, with the teams. These are kind of a different kind of fan than would typically be here, which would be sports folks and gamblers who like gambling on sports and other kinds of gambling. So it's actually going to be a strange phenomenon in Vegas because you're going to have a lot more people who aren't even necessarily fans of one of the teams. They're involved with the production, the Super Bowl itself, all the broadcasters, and they built this the studio that's blocking Bellagio is a CBS TV studio. So you've got crews and dozens of people involved with support and the business side and all this stuff. So that's going to be really interesting to watch. Taylor Swift, I know it's controversial, but she has definitely gotten a whole other set of eyeballs. Those folks, she's not performing, so I don't think any Swifties are coming to Vegas because of Taylor Swift, because of those cutaway shots in the booth. The rumor I shared was that she bought a suite. I don't know if it's for herself or like family friends, but she spent $1.5 million on a suite at Allegiant Stadium. I don't think anybody's coming just to be able to look at her up in her suite. So I don't know if that's, but the conversation around the Super Bowl is definitely expanded because of that fan base. And that tweet where I shared what she spent on it went to like 300,000 people. It's not big for me, all of my tweets go to 300,000 people, but you can see there's a level of interest in her. And I actually floated the idea that she and Travis should get married in a quickie wedding in Vegas. I mean, everybody wants it to happen. It would be great for our wedding business here, and then I would look like God because I predicted their quickie marriage.
Hey, and I've got a over/under prop bet with a coworker of mine that says it's going to last at least until May 1st. So that's going to at least buy me till May 1st if they go.
That's horrible.
I heard that he's proposing if they win the game. That's the rumor.
Yeah,
that he's going to propose on the 50-yard line right after they accept the Lombardi Trophy.
And then she's going to propose a prenup.
Yeah,
so.
she should. She should. Her net worth compared to Travis is a big gap.
He's a good guy, but come on.
Yeah. No, so many people just think, once the football season's over, it's going to end. I think they're going to stay together for quite a while. So
you can see it's really genuine, and these public folks they have to be kind of careful. And when they hugged and kissed publicly, like that was next level of acknowledging that it's serious, because they're not going to risk, if they're just dating, they're not going to be that public about it. Right. The whole world is watching her whisper in his ear like it's
they
next
said I love you
level
to one another. That was pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, guys say that sometimes,
not in public, not like that.
That's true.
I mean, I hear you.
But if you want to get lucky, that's how you do it. Wait till all the cameras are on you. Then you're good.
You can play that back forever. You can play that back forever. I love you, and we're going to the disco, pussy. That's what we're doing right after the game. Scott Roman at Vital Vegas on Twitter. So before we get you out of here, I appreciate the time, man. I really do. I've been to Vegas 30, 40 times now, and every time I'm out there, and it saddens me because you hit on it, they're going to block the Bellagio fountains. It's like a wonder of the world to me just to walk by at night and watch the Bellagio fountain show. What are so two-parter for you? It used to be, walk in front of Treasure Island, which is now going to be Hard Rock, and it's also corporate on the Strip. So what are those little cool free things? Because you can't go see the Bellagio fountains for the Super Bowl. I think they don't have the volcano show anymore at down by Mirage and TI, right?
Yeah, they've put this Paramount Mountain on top of the volcano for the Super Bowl, so it'll be back. They haven't decided when the volcano is going to go, but yeah, there's several kind of kitschy. I put that in the kitschy category, but it's still kind of like what makes Vegas Vegas is those free attractions.
Going to the sign.
You got to go to the Las
easy
Vegas
to see
sign.
from the Strip.
What is
the Sphere?
The Sphere.
Oh, the Sphere. Yeah, I mean, it's very visible. I think that's kind of been added to that list of things. I always forget about it because it's so new. but it's definitely like a great form of free entertainment. There's no parking. Like they didn't really plan for people to come.
Oh,
They
it's
like
a
built this
nightmare taking an Uber. Yeah, it is a nightmare taking
it's
an Uber
very
down that back
weird,
road.
and you can go to this dopey IMAX movie or whatever, but a lot of people just like to go to watch the outside of it, you know.
Yeah.
Then you got the Bellagio Conservatory, which is inside Bellagio. So if you're there to see the fountains, you can still see them. You're kind of standing on the side watching, which I hate. But you can still go in. The conservatory is free. I mentioned Fremont Street Experience, like that. That video canopy goes 5 blocks. A lot of people kind of take that for granted because it's been around, since the 80s. But it really is kind of a cool, free form of entertainment. They're
Trey,
putting
not
like
built for
ads
us,
up
by the
there.
way. Not
What's
not built for guys like us to be ziplining on that thing. So
Why
No.
not?
I know I'm very aware of my limitations, and they usually
No,
come with the
I
weight
think
limit.
the maximum, maybe it's 350, 300, because I worked
maybe.
there. I worked at Slotzilla, and we
I still
always
don't
used to
trust it.
stay. The line is the line is so strong it could hold like 5 armored cars.
Wow.
So it's really strong, and yeah, they do. It's more of a problem if you're too light than if you're too heavy. Because
I've
if you're
seen
too
many
light,
people get stuck in the middle of
Yeah.
it. They gotta come out and
they
drag
gotta.
it back to the other side. They get towed.
Yeah, you can't call it rescue. You call it a guest assistance.
Okay.
And then the guys, they have like good upper body strength. They're out there
Oh,
pulling
yeah.
with their hands. They latch on to the person that's stuck. It's always when they're light. Sometimes in the winter, like the temperature affects the lines, but they've never had like a serious accident. Knock on wood or whatever people do. I worked there for 6 years. I actually opened Slotzilla and did their marketing, which is why it's such a huge, huge success.
Scott, thanks again for the time. Next time I'm out, I'll make sure I shoot you a message, and we'll meet at Whiskey Liquor Up and have a Captain and Coke and catch up some more.
Hey,
I'd
you
love
might get
to
a
meet you
tweet or
guys
two
in
from me this
person.
week.
What's happening?
So you might get a tweet or two from this week when I come touchdown in Vegas, man.
I got you. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. And if you don't like what I recommend, I will say I never talked to you.